The infinity sign is one of the most recognizable and powerful symbols on Earth, yet almost nobody understands what it actually is, or more importantly, what it can do when you know how to work with it. There are very few symbols that almost every human being instantly recognizes: the circle, the cross, the spiral, and the infinity sign. It's everywhere in mathematics, science, philosophy, art, jewelry, spirituality, and cultures spanning the globe. We've been taught that it represents eternity, limitlessness, or infinite possibility, but that's only scratching the surface. The infinity sign isn't simply a symbol, it's a living waveform, a pattern woven into consciousness itself. It describes how energy flows, how reality organizes itself, and why this simple geometric symbol has the ability to profoundly transform the way we experience ourselves and the world around us within space and time. I've worked with energy fields and studied the nature of consciousness for more than 30 years. During that time, I've explored countless techniques, practices, modalities. Yet over the last 2 years, this seemingly simple figure 8 has become one of the most powerful tools I've ever worked with. In this series, I'm going to show you what the infinity sign really is, why it's appeared throughout human history, why advanced civilizations describe it as a living waveform rather than a symbol, and how you can begin working with it yourself to access possibilities that most people never even realize exist. So, what exactly is the infinity sign? This simple piece of geometry, shown on the screen, is known mathematically as the lemniscate, although most people call it the infinity symbol. It became the universal mathematical symbol for infinity after John Wallis introduced it in the 17th century. Yet the geometry itself is far older. Variations of this same shape appear throughout ancient cultures, sacred traditions, philosophy, art, and spirituality. That isn't a coincidence. Different civilizations arrived at the same geometry because they were all describing the same fundamental principle about the nature of reality. At its deepest level, the infinity sign represents 3 profound principles. Number 1, eternal continuity and the cyclical nature of existence. Number 2, the harmony of opposites. And number 3, the infinite nature of consciousness itself. The first is eternal continuity. At its simplest level, the infinity sign represents a continuous, timeless flow with no beginning and no end, bypassing the linear constraints of time and space. Unlike a straight line that has a starting point and an ending point, it flows endlessly through itself. It represents the cyclical nature of existence, where energy continually recirculates and where experiences, lessons, and growth repeat in a spiral of evolution. Consciousness flows, creation flows, life itself unfolds in continuous cycles of expansion, integration, and renewal. The second is the harmony of opposites. The infinity sign isn't one continuous circle, it's 2 balanced loops joined through a single central point. Those 2 loops beautifully represent the balance of opposites: masculine and feminine, light and dark, creation and destruction, inner and outer, the physical and non-physical. They aren't separate forces competing with one another. They're complementary expressions of the same unified whole. The third is the infinite itself. The infinity sign represents that beneath our temporary identity in this physical body, manifesting within this dimension, lies something timeless. We're not simply physical beings moving through time. We are infinite consciousness expressing itself through countless experiences, perspectives, and forms. In other words, the infinity sign is describing how reality continually creates itself. It reminds us of what we truly are. So far, we've explored what the infinity sign is, but understanding it intellectually is only the beginning. Its true power lies in learning how to work with it. When you begin interacting with this very special geometry intentionally, it becomes far more than a symbol. It becomes a practical tool that can profoundly change the way you experience reality. Here are 5 powerful ways you can begin working with the infinity sign, each opening the door to an entirely new way of experiencing reality. The first is as a gateway beyond linear time. Because the infinity sign represents the timeless flow of consciousness, it can become a bridge to experiences that exist beyond our ordinary perception of time. It can help us explore parallel realities, other lifetimes, and deeper levels of consciousness that already exist beyond the limits of linear experience. I'll share a personal experience with this in the next video, along with a simple exercise you can begin using yourself. The second is as a bridge for higher communication. The infinity sign can become a conduit for connecting with higher states of consciousness, higher dimensional beings, and forms of intelligence that exist beyond ordinary perception. Interestingly, 𝗤𝗏 describes the infinity sign not merely as a symbol, but as a waveform of what he calls the bridge frequency through which communication between our civilization and others occurs. That perspective completely transformed the way I began working with this geometry, with some pretty incredible results that I'll share in the next video. The third is as a tool for healing. The infinity sign naturally embodies balance, harmony, and continual renewal. By consciously working with its geometry, we can encourage greater coherence within the mind, body, and energy field, supporting the release of old patterns while restoring a deeper sense of balance. I'll show you a simple but powerful practice that demonstrates exactly how to work with it in this way. The fourth is to accelerate the mastery of any skill. The infinity sign represents continual refinement rather than a fixed destination. It brings conscious intention, subconscious integration, and physical practice into greater harmony, allowing you to master almost any skill more fluidly and naturally. Whether you're developing intuition, learning a sport, engaging in a creative hobby, public speaking, music, or any other ability, this geometry can become a powerful ally in the learning process. And the fifth is to synchronize the 2 hemispheres of the brain. Unlike the other 4, this is something you can begin experiencing immediately, right now. We'll go into more detail with a practical exercise, and this simple practice will help prepare you for the more advanced exercises we'll explore in the next video. The infinity sign acts as a bridge between the left and right hemispheres of the brain. The left hemisphere is associated with logic, analysis, and linear thinking, while the right hemisphere is linked to creativity, intuition, and holistic perception. By engaging with the infinity sign, you encourage greater communication between these hemispheres, which fosters a more balanced and integrated way of thinking. How exactly does this work? The infinity sign's continuous loop represents an unbroken flow of energy and information, mirroring the way the brain continuously processes experience. Its symmetry naturally encourages both hemispheres to work together harmoniously. Simply drawing, tracing, or visualizing the infinity sign engages both sides of the brain, encouraging greater interhemispheric communication. Take several centering breaths, breathing deeply in and out. If you have a physical representation of the infinity sign, such as the one shown on the screen, place it in front of you and simply allow your eyes to follow its continuous flow. You can also visualize the infinity sign in your mind's eye, or trace it slowly in the air with your finger, like this. As you do, become aware that the flow is continuous, timeless, with no beginning and no end. As you do this, repeat silently or out loud, I am whole, I am infinite, I am oneness. Practice this throughout the day in whatever way feels most natural to you, especially whenever you feel scattered or overwhelmed. This is the way it speaks to me personally. On the inhale in my mind's eye, I trace the upper loop of the infinity sign. On the exhale, I flow into the lower loop, like this. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. I do this throughout the day when I'm writing video scripts, preparing for a client, taking a shower, walking through the grocery store, or anytime I feel a little flustered. A wonderful benefit is that you'll find the rhythmic flow of the infinity sign naturally induces a meditative state, which automatically helps quiet that monkey mind chatter. One final note, whether you visualize or trace the infinity sign horizontally or vertically creates a different energetic experience. When it's horizontal, its energy is naturally grounding and calming, reflects stability, balance, reflection, and integration of life's experiences. Vertically, its energy supports expansion, inspiration, spiritual growth, and connecting more deeply with your multidimensional consciousness. Ultimately, there's no right or wrong way to work with it. Trust whichever orientation you're naturally drawn to, because it'll always be what's best for you in that moment. All right, in the next video, we're going to take everything we've explored here and put it into more advanced practice. I'll show you exactly how to use the infinity sign as a gateway beyond this time-space reality to access other timelines, known as previous lives or parallel realities, as a powerful tool for healing, as a bridge for connecting with interdimensional, extra-dimensional, and extraterrestrial beings and higher states of consciousness, and as a way of accelerating the mastery of virtually any skill. The key takeaway here is that the infinity sign is far more than a beautiful piece of sacred geometry. It's a living pattern that reflects the way consciousness and reality continually flow, evolve, and express themselves. Once you begin working with it consciously, you'll never look at this simple symbol the same way again. Until then, begin practicing the hemisphere synchronization exercise we explored today. As you do, you'll naturally encourage your brain to function in a more holistic and expanded state, helping lay the foundation for the more advanced exercises we'll explore in the next video. And with that, we'll bring this to a close. Questions or comments are always welcome. I read them all. And I've also left a question in the pinned comment for any insights that you'd like to offer. If you like the sharing and you'd like to hear more, or part 2, please hit the like button, which helps me know if you're inspired by my teachings. For more insights, tap the notification bell to be notified when new videos are released. Thank you so much for listening and for being part of this beautiful community where we learn to work with the patterns of existence itself as practical tools for mastering reality. Superhuman Made Simple with the Architect.